I'd like to call our El Centro City Council meeting, March 7th, 2023. I'd like to call it to order. At this time, please, Madam City Clerk, if you'll call the roll.
Councilmember Carter,
Present.
Councilmember Oliva,
Present.
Councilmember Garcia,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Marroquin,
Present.
Mayor Cardenas Singh.
Wonderful, present. At this time, I'd like to please ask Councilmember Edgar Garcia to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilmember Sonia Carter for our invocation.
Ready? Begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If you can remain standing, please, for the invocation.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you, Lord, just saying thank you. We come to you thanking you just for everything that is going on. We're thanking you for the progress, Lord. We're thanking you for the better outcome, Lord. We're thanking you, just saying thank you. We're just thanking you for things that we can't see yet. We're just thanking you for everybody who is here. We're thanking you for everybody who is not, that wanted to be here. We're asking for you just to bless this meeting and bless us as we go on our way. In the name of Jesus.
Amen. Thank you so much, colleagues. I appreciate that. At this time, please, I'd like to ask for a report on closed session. Madam City Attorney.
Madam Mayor, the council had an extended closed session to receive a variety of information regarding possible litigation against the city, litigation initiated by the city, and to receive an update on claims and other pending matters.
Wonderful, thank you. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and move into public comments. This is a public meeting. If there is an item on the agenda in which you wish to be heard, you're asked to complete a blue speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the start of the meeting. Persons wishing to address the council are not required to identify themselves. However, this information assists the mayor by ensuring that all persons wishing to address the council are recognized and also assist the city clerk in preparing the city council minutes. When the item is announced and your name is called by the mayor, please step up to the podium and state your name for the record. Your time will be 3 minutes. It's a 3-minute limit. If you wish to address the city council on any other matter on the agenda, you may do so during that public portion of the agenda. Madam City Clerk, do we have any blue speaker slips?
We have none, Mayor.
Right. Anyone remote?
No, none.
All right. All right, colleagues, I'd like to move on to our consent agenda. Is there any item that you would like pulled? And if not, is there a motion? Thank you. Motion was made by Councilmember Tomas Olivas, second by Mayor Pro Tem Sylvia Marroquin. Please vote. Motion passes 5-0. All right, we're moving on to public hearing. This item is public hearing for the purpose of an issuance of a multifamily housing revenue bond for the Haracanda, I hope I'm saying that correct, Garden Apartments. Mr. Angel Hernandez, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of City Council. The item before you is a request to conduct a public hearing pursuant to the Federal Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act, or TEFRA. TEFRA requires that a public hearing be held by the governing body of the jurisdiction in which a project to be financed with tax-exempt financing is located, and that the governing body approve the proposed financing. Chelsea Investment Corporation has asked that the California Municipal Finance Authority, or CMFA, be the issuer of tax-exempt financing in the amount not to exceed $25 million to finance or refinance the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of a multifamily rental project located at 1625 North Waterman Avenue. This is known as locally as the Jacaranda Gardens project. This project was before the City Council, I think back in 2021, when it was first introduced to you. The CMFA is a joint powers authority formed to assist local governments, nonprofit organizations, and businesses with the issuance of both taxable and tax-exempt debt. The debt to be issued by CMFA will be the sole responsibility of the borrower, and the City of El Centro will have no financial or legal obligations or responsibilities with regard to the repayment of the debt. All financing documents will carry disclaimers that the loan is not an obligation of the city. The city will also bear no cost in the issuance of the proposed debt. So it's being recommended that the City Council open the public hearing and also follow up by adopting the resolution approving the issuance of tax-exempt bonds by CMFA for the benefit of the borrower, which is Jacaranda Gardens. Such adoption is solely for the purposes of satisfying the requirements of TEFRA, the tax code, and California Government Code Section 6500. We also have some some folks that are online that could answer any questions, and I'm also available for any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone in the audience or on remote that would like to speak on this item, please turn in a blue speaker slip if you wish to do so. Madam City Clerk, have we received any blue public comment slips?
None, Mayor.
Is there anyone remote?
No one remote.
Wonderful. With that, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Colleagues, is there any questions that we might have for Mr. Angel Hernandez?
No, the only thing I just wanted to highlight, I know that it was stated and it's in the report, but there is no, I love the attorney's wording, by the way, fiscal, moral, legal obligation of the city in regards to these bonds, and that they're at the responsibility of Chelsea.
Yes, they made it very explicit.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions? Now, at this time then, colleagues, I would like to see if I have a motion for the adoption of Resolution 23-17. And at this point, the mover is Councilmember Edgar Garcia, second by Councilmember Sonia Carter. Please vote. Thank you. That item passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. All right, moving on to Director of Finance Employment Contract, Ms. Dulce Bedoya.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm here to present the Director of Finance Employment Contract. The former finance director retired in December of 2022. Thereafter, the city conducted a recruitment process to hire a new director of finance. As a result of this recruitment, Ms. Carla Chaparro was selected for the position. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on Carla. She was born and raised in El Centro, California. She is a graduate of Central Union High School. She acquired her associate's degree in accounting from Imperial Valley College, then went on to acquire her bachelor's degree, also in accounting, from San Diego State University in San Diego. She started her career with the city of El Centro in June of 2009 as an accounting assistant. Throughout her tenure with the city, she has also held the positions of accounting specialist, accountant, and finance manager within the finance department. Ms. Chaparro's monthly salary will be $12,109, and she will also receive a car allowance in the amount of $300. As it relates to the employment contract, the overall benefits of the position are the same as those for other city department heads. So in conclusion, I'm asking for the adoption of this resolution, which is the Director of Finance Employment Contract. Any questions? And then I'll have her come up here to say a few words.
Sounds good. Any questions, colleagues? All right. With that, I have a motion for the adoption of Resolution 23-18. Mover is Council Member Sonia Carter, seconded by Council Member Edgar Garcia. Please vote. Congratulations. That passes 5-0.
Okay, so good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you and our city manager for appointing me as the finance director for the city of El Centro and for entrusting me with the financials for the city. I am truly humbled and I feel very blessed for this wonderful opportunity. I was born and raised in the city of El Centro, and I genuinely believe that this is the best city in the Imperial County. I have been working for the city of El Centro for the last 14 years, and I'm very proud to be part of this amazing group of people that truly care for the city and the well-being of its residents. I also want to thank my husband, my kids, and my parents for all their support throughout the years of my career. I want to thank the finance department because I believe in teamwork and the department would not be what it is without them. And the former directors of finance for mentoring and guiding me. And once again, I'm very happy and very excited for this opportunity, and I thank all of you.
Thank you, Ms. Carla.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Please, so I'll go ahead and open it up to council if you'd like to provide any words of appreciation.
Oh, I would just like to say congratulations. I just see your family, the smile. They're so excited for you. I wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Carla, I worked with you for the last couple of years, and I'm really glad to see you now in this new role. And to her family, to her kids, I want you to know I've seen your coloring in her office. She's very proud of you all, and she does put up your coloring pictures in her office. So make sure you give her more, okay? We're very proud of you, Carla. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. There's no welcoming because you've been here since 2009. You've literally gone through all the positions that we could possibly ask for to get here. You know how everything runs, and you're following a really good director of finance, and I know that you're ready to step into this role. You've been there through all the times that we've had you here. You've always been there sitting by his side. Now it's your turn to take the reins, and look forward to working with you. And again, congratulations on this progression.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Carla. As I was listening to my colleagues, one thing that's, you really have risen from the bottom to the very top. And I'm sure that, we're all proud of you, and I'm sure your family is too. So, just congratulations on the accolade of reaching this milestone in your life, and hope for a long-term career with the city, and just make sure you keep us on top of the award-winning
Yes.
audits, that we've had in the past, from, and I'm sure that Mr. Romero will be with you in spirit when it comes to that time.
Yes.
So
Wonderful.
thank you very much,
Thank
Carla.
you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Carla, super excited for you. I think about someone who started their career here at the city of El Centro, has gone through all the positions and worked her way up to being a director of department. And that comes with great talent, sacrifice, and a lot of work. So I congratulate you. I'm so excited that you will be heading, the finance department, and that you are part of our team. I congratulate you, and I know the sacrifice that your family, your husband, and your children make when we have those deadlines that need to be met. And an accomplishment is a family's accomplishment. So congratulations to you. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our retired finance director, Mr. Richard Romero. Thank you so much for being here this evening. We've missed you, but we know that you're enjoying your family, and we thank you for being such a great mentor and making sure there was a succession plan that our finance department continues to meet the standard that you set. So thank you, and it's nice to have you this evening. Congratulations, and for those that may not see this, what we see in the audience is obviously you have a great support system, Carla, and congratulations to you.
Yes.
All
Thank you
right,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 4, award a water treatment plant overflow modification to raw water storage pond project. Mr. Abraham Campos, please.
Good evening. That was a mouthful, huh?
I know.
So, good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and Council members, City Manager, City Attorney. This is a very simple project, part of several projects that we're working at the water treatment plant to make sure that we keep up to date and keep improving. This is a series of 3 that we have going on in this year in the water treatment plant. This project in itself has been in the works for us for, I want to say 5 to 10 years at this point, trying to get permits from the state. We have those, we're moving forward, and it stems from the construction of the new water treatment plant that's not so new anymore. But what we're trying to accomplish here is relieve ourselves from a permit requirement from the Department of Water Resources for permitting our dams. We are we do hold the water above ground level, and that's why we have some dams. From 2 dams that were converted into 4 dams, and what this will allow is for us to be placed outside of the jurisdiction of DWR and have more control of our facilities. We put this project out to bid, and we received 2 bids, one from Rove, one from Advanced Construction. Rove's bid has been determined to be responsive and responsible, and we're recommending that we proceed to award of this project to Rove Engineering. If you have any questions on the project or on the bid, I'd be happy to answer those.
Colleagues, anyone have questions? All right. So with that, I'd like to take the opportunity to ask if there is a motion to move for the approval of the adoption of resolution number 23-19. All right, and with that, I have Councilmember Tomas Oliva as the mover, second, Mayor Pro Tem Sylvia Marroquin. Please vote. Thank you. That item passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Item number 5 is retention of a lobbyist for the city of El Centro, and this presentation will be by Councilmember Tomas Oliva.
Yes. Oh, I can't believe we've already reached item number 5. I feel like we're just racing through this agenda.
We're efficient.
All right, let's
We
do
are
it.
efficient.
So colleagues, I have asked, and I appreciate, thank you, Madam Mayor, for adding this upon my request. As you may have known, last year, we decided to vote on whether or not we would allow for lobbyists to go out for bid, right? Our current budget, however, is so low that any firm that we may consider to be proficient, capable, would honestly just laugh at whatever bid we could put at $9,000 a year. And so I think that we're at a crucial point, specifically because there is legislation in play that would affect the health equity of our residents. And there are some improvements that I think that we would like to advocate for at the state level, as well as making sure that the interests of the city is conveyed to specifically our state and perhaps even our federal legislators in relations to our relationship with the county, the economic development of lithium and what that means for our constituency, housing, and whatnot. And so what I'm asking for is the discussion. This is informational, just to be clear. I'm not asking necessarily for a vote, but for direction as to whether or not you would allow for this item to go back to a committee where we could discuss revisiting the amount of money appropriated and whether or not we can identify a funding source for improved services. And the scope would only be for the next 2 years. And so enough to be able to get us to some storms or some major issues in this session, which is a 2-year session in our legislature. So I could say that we have sufficient ARPA monies that could go to this for that purpose. There could be a blend, but what I'm asking for is to be able to take this back to a committee to have it vetted and then bring it back to you all.
Wonderful. So do you just need direction?
I would just like for direction. It's not a voting item, but it's just any comments or questions that you all may have. And if you are in favor, at least, not formally, but just, at least a nod to take it back to a committee to then have it vetted and bring it back.
My colleagues? Okay,
Cool, all right.
I'm in favor of the discussion.
okay.
Perfect, all right.
Sonia?
Yeah.
Yes, and for myself as well. All right, Councilmember Olivas, you have direction and
Thank you.
move forward with
Appreciate
that
it.
going to a committee. Thank you. Item number 6, State Ballot Initiative, number 21-004A1. Madam City Attorney, will you be presenting this item?
In fact, that the city manager is going to start, and
thank you.
we've gathered some additional materials for you. You may want to keep that Marisol's handing out.
Wonderful.
Honorable Madam Mayor and council members. So this one's going to be a little bit long, so I apologize in advance. So the item before you is a resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro opposing initiative number 210042A1. And just for background, in 2018, the California Business Roundtable, also known as CBRT, circulated what was known as the Tax Fairness, Transparency, and Accountability Act. It was an initiative that went on or was trying to be on the November 18th, 2018 statewide ballot. However, as a result, the Cal Cities, as well as a coalition of members and partner agencies, the measure's proponent withdrew it. At the time, the measure proposed to drastically reduce already limited local revenues for California cities, including cities like ours. On January of 2022, CBRT filed initiative number 21-0042A. And this initiative qualified for the November 2024 ballot. Unlike the 2018 measure, this new initiative appears to be far more detrimental to cities like ours because it would eliminate the city's authority to recover costs through duly adopted fees and charges, thus jeopardizing services. Pretty much, our local government revenue raising authority already is currently substantially restricted by state statute and constitutional provisions. This particular measure, if approved, would create new state constitutional loopholes that would allow corporations to pay less than their fair share for the negative effects they impose on California cities, including infrastructure and environment. It would also make it more difficult for local regulators, such as our code enforcement division, to issue and collect fines for revenue. It would reallocate funds currently provided to cities for local services such as law enforcement and public health. It would limit public input by prohibiting local advisory measures and retroactively cancel measures already faced or passed by local voters. It would revise provisions for adoption of rates and charges to impose new limitations and fees that may be charged. So in short, virtually every city, must regularly adopt increases to fees, rates, and charges and revise rate schedules to accommodate new users and activities. With the passage of this initiative, most of these would be subject to new standards and limitations under threat of legal challenge. This would cause reduction on local government tax revenues, have impacts on core services and infrastructures, including fire services, emergency response, law enforcement, streets and roads, drinking water, sewer and sewer sanitation, parks, libraries, public schools, affordable housing, homeless prevention, and mental health services. So the initiative also converts administrative imposed fines and penalties into taxes unless a new, undefined, and ambiguous adjudicatory due process.
Yeah, adjudicatory.
Thank you. Is followed. This provision may put at risk authority to impose fines and penalties for violations of state and local law. As mentioned, the city attorney provided additional information as background. This is, as far as the recommendation is to adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro opposing this initiative that's in front of us.
Madam City Attorney, anything else that you would like to add to the discussion?
Not at this point. The league, Cal Cities and its partners have put together an effort to get out publicity about this initiative as it qualifies for the ballot. It would not affect, for example, your Measure P. If you'd adopted Measure P in the last year, however, it could retroactively cancel it. It is, I think, an overreaction by business to a number of practices by cities in California, not including El Centro, that they feel treat development and developers and business in an inappropriate manner. I'll be honest, I don't know if it is draconian as they make it sound, but it is a measure which would even more greatly handicap public agencies, cities and special districts and counties in doing their business. So if you'd like to consider the resolution, if you'd like more information, we can keep the resolution on the agenda, allow you to read all of this and see what you'd like to do at a future time.
Colleagues, I bring this back to you for questions, feedback, or direction.
So I've looked a lot into this. This language, this proposed rules and regulations in this initiative are not new. They have been previously brought up in order to favor development by constricting what cities can do in terms of controlling what happens within their borders. This would be extremely detrimental to cities such as our city, because we rely on local control in order to make sure that we can operate and keep the lights on and make adjustments in order to provide infrastructure and services to our community and to our residents. This would essentially handcuff us. This assumes that we get all of our resources from the state, which is not the case. Clearly, we have to take care of our own city. Our municipalities throughout California are banding together through the California League of Cities in order to oppose this initiative because it's a overreach. Because of the current economic situation that we have right now, they are going to advertise this as essentially banning local taxes, which is going to carry a lot of weight because of the current situation that we have economically. However, it strips local control and it will have an overall detrimental effect on the average citizen who resides in these cities, especially for people who live in cities that are not inhabited by millions of people. We are a small city who has to have overview over what happens in our borders. This initiative would strip a lot of our ability to do so. Who better knows the needs of our fire and police than us? It's not Sacramento. And this initiative would basically say that we could not do anything without passing other initiatives as taxes when they're not taxes at all. This would handcuff us in how we operate as a city, and it would take money out of the services and infrastructure that our citizens clearly need and enjoy. So I am completely opposed to this initiative, and I behoove my colleagues in this council to take a stand like many of the other cities have in California and continue to do so every day, so that we can try to make some headway now before these businesses start pumping millions and millions of dollars into advertisement that is going to mislead the public. I think we all remember the Safer Neighborhoods and Safer Schools Act that was passed by Sacramento that gave us neither safer streets or safer schools. This will be titled and will be pushed in the same manner in order to get it to pass. We need to take a stand now, and we need to educate our people, because ultimately everyone will suffer because of this.
Thank you so much for that. Great insight. I appreciate that. Council member?
Yes, I
Olivas?
do have a comment. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I share the sentiments of Mr. Garcia in terms of what this measure is trying to do. And I'm going to soapbox it a little bit. And that is one of my biggest criticisms of what the state did to cities was take away our ability to have redevelopment agencies. It was a huge tool for us. Quite frankly, there was maybe a few cities throughout the state that didn't use it correctly. And so they became the poster children of what not to do. And so after a long battle, that money that we could have used right now to promote housing, to do affordable housing, to addressing blight, we don't have that anymore. So what did it end up doing? It made us addicted and dependent on grants. to where now in order to addressing, revitalization to our parks, right? Whether or not we always constantly have to go for these grants. So that's, I think, maybe an unintended consequence to that. What this proposal would eliminate all of the taxes and bonds that were recently passed. So as you heard from the city attorney, Measure P wouldn't necessarily fall into it because it was passed so many years ago. But what would get eliminated? The recent bonds passed by Imperial Valley College in order to promote, our public safety programs, right? It would eliminate the bonds passed by Central Union High School and El Centro Elementary School District in order to do, like their STEM building or some other buildings that they have for the expansion of their services. And so why would we do that? Right? It's not as if they're getting more money by the state in order to address those issues. And so we are all left with at the local level to decide that future for ourselves and figure out how we allocate those funding. And at the core of it all, it's voter approved, right? So why would we go ahead and say, your vote doesn't matter, we know best, and we're gonna undo it, right? And the last thing that I would say is that if we're not going to get the type of funding adequate enough to meet the regulations, right, the rules that we're supposed to meet, and we're not going to get additional funding for it, then we need to figure it out for ourselves. Case in point, the hospital. We're going to have to decide what ends up happening for that. And if the people decide to self-sustain it, this proposal that we put on the ballot would eliminate it completely. Why would we do that to ourselves? It makes absolutely no sense. And I think that this proposal, first of all, is bad for us, but I think it's a reflection of something that the state is going to need to kind of look into, of the fact that what is the spirit of behind why someone feels that this is too much, right? And I would say that the reason why they were trying to undo it is because it does feel burdensome to us locally here. But that's because sometimes Sacramento has a tendency to pass rules and not fund it, right? So funding it ourselves is the only thing that we have left to do. And so I don't think this is the answer, but I do think that it starts a conversation that Sacramento is going to need to have with itself to say, you know what, we need to maybe better fund our hospitals and healthcare, especially in rural communities. We need to better fund our schools. We need to better fund, the things that we depend on here, rather than forcing locals, very disadvantaged communities, very low-income communities, to have to bear the burden of paying it themselves. So, colleagues, I join Mr. Garcia in asking you to support the opposition letter or position to this proposal.
Wonderful. Any other input? Any other input?
I thank my colleagues for that information. I just need to do my homework. I would like more time to research, do some homework, just to gather some thoughts myself. But thank you. Very valuable information to both of you.
So my only question is, are we sending out a letter of opposition? Or is this?
You have in front of you a resolution. You were given a choice of a letter of opposition or a resolution. I placed it on as a resolution because I thought it carried additional weight, but it could be changed to a letter.
Oh, no.
Or you could do both.
But you know what? I apologize. I know I said letter, right? And I
Yeah,
apologize
which
for
do
the
you think
wording
was
of it.
better?
I'm open to both, but I out of courtesy to Ms. Carter, that if she's asking for more time, I think maybe we could just, Madam Mayor, put it to the next meeting.
You want us to hold and wait until the next meeting, Sonia?
Yes, just so it'll be fair, so I will know more about this, if
All
you
right.
would, please.
All right, wonderful. So with that then, colleagues, we'll go ahead and continue this item for the next city council meeting. All right. Thank you for that. All right, moving on with our agenda. At this time, I would like to go ahead and ask colleagues to please give a task force report and also a report from myself. Ms. Carter, would you like to go ahead and go?
Sure. I was reading, sorry. Okay, since the last time we were here, we had a special hospital meeting, a joint and a hospital meeting. We are making progress. We are excited about the progress we are making and the progress that is coming. So we're excited about that. And we had the air show gala. I did the invocation. I really, that was a very nice and formal event. Very nice and formal event. Nice people, very nice people. Then the Dr. Seuss birthday at the library, very nice event. I had like 3 meetings that day, so I caught it at the end, but nice. I got to see a lot of the pictures that they took from the early process of the event. Then we had the task force to the end homeless meeting. I was just there listening because I'm trying to gather thoughts. This is more Mayor Pro Term. Could touch bases more on that. And then we had the ICOE annual speech meeting. We're going to be doing the speech for the Southwest for the, what is it? Yes. And I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm learning about this too as well. So I'm excited about this as well. So everything is just a learning process. And I took something under my belt as far as community outreach. I love it. My daughter doesn't. Every place I go, I introduce myself to somebody and I let them know, what are your concerns and what are your needs, just so that way it can, there seems to be miscommunication out in the city right now. So I just let them know that we have a strong council. I speak for all of us, but I just introduce myself so that way we can have a stronger community. But thank you.
Right, wonderful. Thank you for your report. Councilmember Tomas Olivas?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. So colleagues, as mentioned, we did have a joint commission accreditation meeting at El Centro Regional Medical Center. Basically, this is the accreditation committee that is considered to be the gold standard as it relates to hospitals. And so we are the only joint commission accredited hospital in Imperial County, which is a good thing. It was a week-long oversight. They just kind of pop in on you, and they do a thorough review of all of the services of the hospital. And so at the very end, they go over, I believe there are 1,200 points that they could ding you for. And they found, I think, 22 out of 1,200 issues to raise. And so we got basically like a 98% score on the review that they did. So I'm very proud of our staff at El Centro Regional Medical Center, and I think they did a fantastic job. So I thank them for that, and I think we should all be thankful to them. As mentioned also, there's Reading Across America. Readers are leaders. Right now it's the whole Dr. Seuss thing, and I think that it's important. Thank you to my colleagues who have participated throughout the region in different schools in reading to children and getting them excited about reading. We have had several meetings, the mayor and myself, with Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia related to the legislation for El Centro Regional Medical Center. It's a joint meeting with Heffernan Memorial Healthcare District as well as Pioneers Memorial Healthcare District. The first meeting was to make sure that we were all on the same page on the legislation. It was conveyed formally that all 3 entities are in favor of the legislation as a means to establish the one single healthcare district, right? 2 campuses, 1 flag. And what that means is rather than going through the LAFCO portion, because El Centro Regional is not subject to LAFCO, we are hoping for this legislation to direct LAFCO to approve the formation of a single healthcare district, which would then be put on the ballot so that the voters would approve it. And that, I think, is very important to remember, and I will repeat it until my voice goes away, that this is not being done amongst a handful of people. This is an idea and a plan of formation that, whether it is the institutions themselves, it is medical professionals, it's the physicians, the nurses, UC San Diego, anyone that has evaluated and assessed our healthcare district agrees that it is in our better interest as an Imperial Valley resident to have a single healthcare district that works together, that is sharing services rather than competing for, and that is able to excel in services, right, pertaining to the campus. And so that will be placed before the voters for approval, and we're hoping for a election date of March 2024. And March 2024 would be the date in which it would be placed on the ballot. And then if approved, the election of the new governing body for this new single healthcare district would be November of 2024. And so that would be when the new governing body would take over and lead us into the future. In the meantime, however, it was also conveyed that Preston Hollow, which is our bondholder, is willing to pay for the feasibility study, the fiscal analysis, which is basically to determine what is the overall cost of operations, what is the amount of revenue that are coming in, what is the best placement of services amongst the campuses, what else do we need to have, what is equitable, and then to determine what amount of money we would need to bring in every year in order to not just sustain the healthcare system, but to have the healthcare system that we all envision and dream to have. What is necessary to sustain a system that currently has us thinking, oh no, we don't have that here, we got to go to San Diego. But what if we were to live in a world where that service that you would go to San Diego for exists here? And how much would that cost us? And can we get there, right? As we are together rather than fractured into three different systems, right? And so that is the vision behind this fiscal analysis, to supplement and to get folks to understand that we want to get there ourselves so that we're not devastated with another pandemic where we are the poster child of a dysfunctional healthcare system and what that means to our mortality right here, right? And I think that was the wake-up call for a lot of us. So I know the mayor and I have met with our counterparts in Heffernan, and I think the update that I would tell you all is that we are looking at potentially a March 22nd joint meeting with Heffernan and Pioneers in order to be able to show each other our financial books, our accounting, so that we're all aware of what our current statuses are so that we can move forward together, right? Next, as mentioned, there was the air show gala. Also, the air show is March 11th. So it's this Saturday. Hopefully you are all able to make it. I was told by the base that one of the changes that they'll have this year is that rather than having the food festival the night before, the food festival will be the morning of the air show. And so it's going to be a full day of food, fun, and air show, right? So you have no reason to go. Also, I will say it's the auction of the animals at the fair. So if you happen to have family members that are auctioning off animals, I guess you'd have to figure out where you go on that one, right? But good luck to the to our youth this Saturday. Lastly, I did participate at El Centro Regional Town Hall, which is essentially just a Q&A session with our staff to be able to dispel rumors, misunderstandings, and to let them know exactly what I just said, like where we're at financially, what is the plan, and where we're going to move forward. So that was my time spent, Madam Mayor.
Great. Can you just maybe give an update on the oncology services that are going to be taking place?
Oh, yes. So thank you for that, Madam Mayor. As most of you remember that months ago, the El Centro Regional Medical Center trustees voted to back away from obstetrics and OB and pediatrics. And what that resulted is in a consolidation of services at Pioneers. And so recently, Pioneers made the decision to step back with their oncology services. And so what that meant is that oncology was absorbed and consolidated to El Centro Regional Medical Center. And so it is important to remember that oncology services is still here in Imperial County, and it is now located at El Centro Regional Medical Center. And so if you are in need of those services and you perhaps went to Brawley prior, know that you are more than welcome, and we are ready to serve you at El Centro Regional Medical Center.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Edgar Garcia?
Yes, like my colleagues, I also attended the Navy Air Show Gala. It was a very, very nice event. Caught up with a lot of local stakeholders and business people that are active in the community. It was very nice to talk to them and hear their concerns and also answer their questions regarding the state of our city and how we're moving forward. There's businesses opening them up, coming up soon, so they wanted some information regarding that. But it was a very well done event at the old Eucalyptus Schoolhouse. It was a very nice time. It was nice to see my colleagues out as well. Other than that, I've been preoccupied with the hospital situation. I think that's been on all of our minds. It's great that we're meeting together with the other districts in the county in order to formulate this plan and hierarchy as to how we're going to effectuate a one district system for the betterment of the healthcare in Imperial County. It is an extremely important topic. It's an extremely important situation, and it will be historic in defining how healthcare is administered in this county for decades to come. It is of the utmost importance that once we have the information as to how the structure of this new district will be laid out, it needs to get to the people. We need to let every single person know how important it is to have this medical structure in place for this county. While we may not be the most dense in population, this county is one of the biggest in California. It is also very important. We have a lot of things going on in this county in terms of our agriculture, in terms of the growth of our populations, and with the coming lithium that is going to be extracted in the north end, that can only add to the profile of this county and increase the population, the business, and ultimately the commerce. And that will bring about the resources for us to start expanding and bringing more services to the population. That's something that's very exciting. However, those services and that expansion, all of that is going to require healthcare. We all live here. We all take care of each other. We depend on each other in so many different ways that we don't see every day. We take it for granted, but we all live here. We're all in this together, from the person that you buy your coffee from in the morning, to the person you visit at your local bank, to the favorite person that you see at the grocery store when you check out. This community is ours. We all are in this together, and it's important because we all need to bind together in order to make sure that we have health care for our children, for their children, for our families, for our friends, for our neighbors. There is no situation where we can accept having low quality or no quality of healthcare in this county. That is not something we can accept. If there was ever anything worth fighting for, our health is what's important. That is definitely something to fight for. The health of our people, the access to healthcare. We need to have our doctors here. We need to have our nurses here. We need to have our facilities that offer these services. And this is an opportunity for all of the healthcare in the county to finally work together in order to minimize costs to our population and to use the benefits of that to increase our services so we don't have to drive hours for quality healthcare, so we can do it in our own backyard. So that's something that we have been working diligently on, and that's something that we will continue until we can see this vision happen. And yes, it is a very, very big plan. It's a very grand plan. It's not going to be decided by the five of us up here. It's going to be decided by everybody in this community. And that's what makes it so important. It's time for us to stand up and demand that we have health care for our future. And this is the way it's going to happen. Not with two competing hospitals and different clinics all over the place, but with all of them working together so we can streamline expenses and we can survive. Because things are not going to get any cheaper in the future. That is the reality of our life. Everything costs money. COVID threw us one huge curveball after another. Medication that was costing $5 a patient grew to $80 a patient. That is unsustainable for one hospital. If we look at what's happening throughout California, hospitals are closing. We cannot have that here. We rely too heavily on our healthcare here. We have too many people that rely on that. And we will keep working diligently towards seeing this grand vision take hold in this community so we can be secure in knowing that we can go to the hospital 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It shouldn't even be a question that they'll be there. And this has been a trying time for all of us, but we will work through it and we will make this happen because we have to. It's important for all of us. My colleague and I, Sylvia Marroquin, today we had back-to-back meetings. We had a closed session and then we went straight to the hospital to do an interview for a CEO. And we've been conducting these interviews with CEOs, and I think that we have identified some really good companies and candidates, someone who can come over and take control and work together with a team of everybody else who's interested to make sure that not only does our hospital prosper, but that also we work towards this vision of a joint healthcare system so that we can all benefit from that. So that's what we've been doing, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Great.
Thank you.
Ms. Sylvia?
Very well said, Mr. Garcia. Thank you for that. So along those lines, in addition to what Councilmember Garcia shared with you, aside from the interviews, this past week, we also signed a letter of intent with UCSD Health to then take over the day-to-day operations of the hospital. So they'll be helping us in the meantime until we reach our long-term goal of forming one health district countywide. And so the interview process has been lengthy. We have some very, interview process, for CEO candidates has been lengthy, and we have some very viable candidates. And so I'm hoping that after today's interview, maybe we may be able to name a new leader at the hospital that can help us along with UCSD to run the hospital for us until we reach that important milestone of forming one united health district. Aside from that, I'm sure that, after we signed the letter of intent, it was all over the news media. And so Mayor Martha Cardenas Singh, myself, and Councilmember Oliva have been busy with interviews with the media. And so I'm sure that you probably saw us on TV, and then all of a sudden I became Blanca Marroquin, not Sylvia Marroquin. So that was kind of interesting. But so I think we've shared, how preoccupied and how busy we've been with the hospital situation, but we have not neglected our other duties. So we, as you may all be aware, I had the task force to end homelessness. So we had a meeting last week, and happy to report that the Catholic Charities Day Center had a soft opening on February the 15th. And we're very excited, and along those lines, our code enforcement officer, Ana Garcia, and our community relations officer, police officer, Bernal, were so excited to share that they walked their first client into the new day center. And so it was, well, what Anna shared with us, it's like she's been there several times, since they opened, and she feels like she's at home. That's how welcoming all of the staff at Catholic Charities has been to all of the clients that have come in. I also sit on the board of the Imperial Valley Continuum of Care Council, and so we had a meeting last week, and the director of Catholic Charities came down from San Diego to make a presentation there. The council or the Continuum of Care allocated funding that came from the state to several nonprofit agencies, and Catholic Charities being one of them. And so Vino was there to share the numbers. He was there with all of the staff involved with the day center, and day by day, the numbers of clients that they're assisting is growing. They have their repeat visitors, but then they also have new ones coming in every day. And one other thing that Vino shared with us is that, at the beginning of all of this, which was about 2 years ago, some of the neighbors around the area where Catholic Charities is located were very concerned about the fact that they were establishing a daycare, a day center there for unhoused individuals. And their concern was that they were going to be lingering. And unfortunately, they did have one incident where someone set up an encampment. So they made sure that they took quick action to remove that individual from there, and explain to them how they have to be good neighbors, to all the residents that live around that area. So, they're being very proactive and reactive to the situations that have already occurred. And so that was the only incident that they had to share. So one other thing that's been pending, the opening of that day center, and is a project that the city and Catholic Charities will be involved with together, and that would be to put some of these unhoused individuals to work. It's called the Street to Work program. And so I know that we're waiting on finalization of funding to get that started. And as soon as we progress on that, then I'll report back on that. Councilmember Carter mentioned that we're actually going to be involved in ICOE Regional Speech and Debate Tournament at Southwest High School on the 18th of March. And so in preparation for that, they held some training sessions for the judges. And so we were in attendance at the training session. And let's see. I think that concludes. I was also in attendance at the Read Across America Dr. Seuss Day at the library. I was actually there before the doors opened. That's how, because I was excited to take my little great niece, to the event. So as time progressed, I just could not believe the crowd that just built up inside that room where they held the event. And there was just, the kids were having a really, really good time, and commend the staff at the library for all of the activities that they had. And it wasn't just for children, it was for adults as well. Because I know my mother was coloring, so, she had a good time. So, and I do have to say that the annual Air Show Gala was a really nice event. I mean, it looked very, very elegant. And, I have to share that we took a picture. All of the council members were in attendance, and we took a picture together. And I have to say that was a really nice picture. It did turn out really nice. So something that I'll be looking for a frame for. So
Excellent.
alrighty. So, and that concludes my report.
Wonderful. Thank you again, just to highlight the great work that took place at the El Centro Public Library for Dr. Seuss' birthday. I would say we had hundreds of individuals, families, children, senior citizens, all of us really just participating and really having the opportunity to teach the importance of reading and celebrating. There was many stations that allowed for activities and for our youth to just really be inspired about reading. And so that was fun. a lot of work that went into place. And so I thank our city staff for putting that event together. It was excellent. And every time I drive by the El Centro Public Library, just so proud of such a beautiful service that we're able to provide here in our Imperial Valley. Just a quick update. I know many of the events have already been shared and don't want to duplicate those, but for the Friends of El Centro, we had our meeting on Monday. Just to share with you, we're in the process of discussing a fundraiser event. And secondly, we're taking a look at Arbor Day. We're going to have an event there on April the 22nd at the future dog park as it's in construction. And for Arbor Day, we're going to be planting trees. So inviting our community to participate in that event would be just phenomenal. Again, we will be planting trees, so come dressed for that. The other item too is on March 15th, 5 o'clock, we're having the groundbreaking ceremony for McGee Park. So please, we invite you to that as well. And for March the 25th, we're having our Easter egg hunt and movie at the park, at Buckland Park, from 5 to 9 p.m. And we have 10,000 Easter eggs that are going to be ready to be out there.
Oh, my gosh.
So really excited. Last year,
How
that event was
exciting.
wonderful. So we're looking forward to that again. Also providing support for local vendors. We'll also have local vendors there as well. One of the other items, please, just to remember to support our fair. So many of our students are in the FFA program. So it's a great opportunity to support our youth. And schools, right? Schools also have school projects that they highlight art work or projects that have been developed or formed by our students, and they're able to showcase that. So please, it's just a great opportunity to support many of our youth and community members that put our fair together. So that's a great opportunity. And let's see, I think just my last item on ECRMC, just to share with you, Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia truly has been a community champion as he works on developing the blueprint as we're getting ready to form this one healthcare district. So I just want to acknowledge his great work making this project and making the formation of this district a priority. I know his schedule is busy, but I just want to share with you that he is fully committed and on board and truly has been a great shepherd as he works us through this process. And that is the last item of my report. And at this time, then I would please ask for our city manager report.
Madam Mayor, thank you. Every evening that we have a meeting, I try to highlight a group of people who go above and beyond what is expected of them. Tonight, I wish to recognize a group of people who I believe, and I feel very strongly in my heart, have been working tirelessly to stabilize healthcare at El Centro Regional, and that's our city council. I get to have a front seat to the efforts that are happening as board members as well as council members, and I just wanted to share that I admire your dedication and hard work towards healthcare in Imperial County. As a resident, I appreciate that very much. It can be physically and emotionally draining for all of us involved, including the community. But overall, I just wanted to share that with you guys, that I appreciate the hard work and dedication that you guys put forward. As far as any meetings that I attended, I had ICTC and IVRMA. That's kind of like the stuff that I do, but most importantly, recently we had a pickleball tournament for the wellness program that actually was a total success, I think. I didn't get to play, but I saw Chief Bernal and a handful of others out there playing. Adriana is very much, she does not like to lose at pickleball. So she's very aggressive on the court. No, she didn't. Competitive, right? No, but there's a certain level of aggressiveness that has to go along with this. So much that I was worried that I would either twist an ankle or break a knee or something. So I just sat on the sidelines. But thank you to the Wellness Program Committee for putting that event together for our employees. I also got a chance to attend the welcome and congratulatory event for Deputy Chief Brown as well as Lieutenant Messick and Thompson at the police department. That was well attended. It was nice to see some of the retirees, come out and say hello to and stand in at the meeting or at the event. I also got a chance to read Across America at Desert Garden School. I ended up reading A Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I stuck with that book through the whole thing. It was pretty much my level for reading, 4.6. But most importantly, I was actually very surprised by the interaction of a particular classroom and the decorum that those students actually showed each other. They were respectfully objecting to other students' point of view. And I for a second, I thought I was like at a council meeting. I was
Room
very,
7.
yes, exactly.
I know Centro
Room
City
7.
Council.
And we have not discussed this, and I knew exactly which teacher he was talking about.
Yes. I also had the opportunity to go to the library for the family fun at the library, and I must say that I was surprised by the number of people that were there, and it was just a lot of people. I had a chance to have some FaceTime with the public there, with our citizens, and hand out some of the swag bags that were given to the kiddos. It was a lot of fun. Also, today we had a swearing-in ceremony. We added 2 staff members, one at Public Works as well as one in the Finance Department. That's always a good time when we get to see our family grow. And I like to remind the public also that don't forget that we are at the Imperial Valley Fairgrounds. We do have a booth there. So if you have an opportunity to come by and say hello, please stop by. End of report.
All right, wonderful. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, this meeting's adjourned. Everyone, go home and enjoy your